We better.
Welcome to The Ride with Chevy and Nasty. Host Randy Chevrier and Sheldon Napashka guide you through great stories that spark great conversations. Two really big guys talking a big game. The boys are locked in and ready to go. Welcome to The Ride.
Welcome to The Ride with Chevy and Nasty. It's Tuesday night, and we are your source for fun and games, and the comments are already coming in. We already got some of you guys joining us. Thanks for being here. We're brought to you each week by Performance Freight Management, We Drone Real Estate Media, and YYC Business. And if you're listening, if you're listening live, if you download the podcast, you want to sponsor the show, give us a shout. You know where to find us. All our socials at Chevy and Nasty. We'll put that graphic up later. But it's episode 67. Sheldon, are you ready to rock?
I think I am, Randy. So why don't we kick it off with a couple of our favorite 67? Some we may have played with, some we may not have.
Well, look at that. We got Max Pacioretty, former Habs captain. I think he's still playing now. I don't know where he's kicking around. He was with Vegas. He went to Nashville, I think. I
think Trey said he might be in Toronto now, but
maybe. But he was a good little player. He's a guy. His neck got broken. He's with the Maple Leafs. His neck got broken by Zdeno Chara, and just got checked right into the stanchion, broke his neck, came back, played. He was a great captain, but they traded him away. And I love when the Habs get a little bit of a nod, so I'm happy about Patches making an appearance tonight. And then we got former teammate of both of ours, Jamie Crysdale. You got any good Jamie Crysdale stories? He's a Stamps legend.
I actually do, but not as a teammate. I remember when I first came into the league as a nose tackle, and he was a center. And I remember the first time I ever played him. Jamie was he's a tall guy, but he's probably an undersized center. He's maybe 285 pounds, 290. And he had this funny little stance. Remember, usually you have shoulder width stance and you're in a power position. Jamie would always have his heels together and just do this little squat. Like he's squatting.
Little pigeon squat.
Yeah. And I don't even know how he got the ball between his legs, but the legend was that he was a really good center. But I was watching the film. I'm like, I'm going to destroy this guy. Now I was a rookie. He was a 10-year vet. But I came firing off the ball on him every time. I was just going to get up under his chin and knock him back. He had that veteran savvy, Chef. Every time I tried that, he would just give this quick little bloop on the ground. He would grab me right here by the shoulder pads, just at a little tap. It took him nothing at all to get me on the ground. I was on my chest, on my stomach, probably 15, 20 times that night. I almost lost my job. In fact, I think the next week they might have started Scott Schultz in front of me. Which I ended up getting my job back, but he almost cost me. That was the first time that I felt truly in fear of losing a job. He made me look so bad, Chev, so bad.
Well, Jamie Crysdale, he played for a long time. Was it 13 season with the Stamps? I believe he's going to be on the Wall of Fame if he's not already on the Wall of Fame. And the one thing you mentioned, and which has always interested me about football. Everyone thinks about football players, especially big offensive linemen, as big, huge guys. But the centers are, very rare to have a big, huge guy. Like next week, episode 67, we'll have Rob Lazio up. He was a big center, big 320 pounds. Yeah. But you talk about, we had Godfrey Ellis a few weeks ago, undersized. Some of the guys you play with Jeremy O'Day. Yeah. Jeremy O'Day wasn't a big center. Like some of the best centers were undersized guys that were quick. Brian Chu, right? You could reach a three technique in the NFL. I mean, guys like Kevin Mawai when I played with the Jets, Hall of Famer, Mark Stepnoski for the Dallas Cowboys, skinny guy, right? But you play next to some big dudes, and you could do some great things because you just have to be a half a man. You don't have to be you don't have to be another full dude, full offensive lineman. You just have to be enough to make it a pain in the ass for the defensive tackle to split a double team, right? And Jamie was great at that stuff. So yeah, nice to talk about former teammate. But you know what, guys? I'm not wearing a Rough Riders t-shirt.
Kind of looks like a Rough Rider.
Yeah, it's a Green Lantern. Green Lantern. It's my favorite superhero. We're a day late for St. Patrick's Day, and I didn't get to do any festivities, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. I guess we got to start the show with what we always start it with after we talk about the favorite number is the 300-pound poetry. And there's a little bit of a St. Patty's mix into it. So let's get to it, young Trey.
And now, 300-pound poetry with Chevy and Nasty.
A lot can happen when you're off for a week. We are the 300-pound poets. Clean underwear, no streaks.
Yeah, mine are clean. He's our very own leprechaun. Did Trey have any luck finding a pot of gold or a woman to engage in a deep and meaningful conversation with at the bar last night?
Well, as cars are being bombed on Earth while attempting to help steer a nation, Elon also found a way to rescue astronauts stranded on a space station.
Do athletes owe it to the fans and the media to speak after every performance or game? If they choose not to, would you look at them the same?
Or can you take back a gift that was given long, long ago? Would you return a bag of money that you found, or would you just grab and go?
All these hard-hitting questions on the ride tonight we shall discuss. So what are you waiting for? Grab some friends. Get on this bus. That was well timed tonight.
Yeah,
that was well. Yeah.
So I gotta ask you about this. So
yeah.
Is it a Montreal thing? Because I've seen Justin do this a lot of times too. Do you dress up for every holiday and throw on, like, if it's St. Patty's Day, you're wearing a green shirt? On Easter, do you like throw on a floral shirt or rabbit ears around the house with the kids? Like, what is it with you guys from Montreal?
So wait, when you see Justin,
man, you have to wear a costume.
Is Justin a buddy of yours? Like, who's this Justin guy you speak of?
He's the only other guy, grown man, that I know that dresses up for every occasion.
I think lots of people dress up. For occasions. I think lots of people. I mean, Calgary is this is a place where people get into like the Halloween, the Christmas. Like, this is the capital of that. But I always got up for special days. A little red on Valentine's, a little green on St. Patty's Day. A little pink shirt on Pink Shirt Day. Yeah, like, I'll get into it. But yesterday I had a green shirt on, and green's my favorite color. To tell you the truth, Green Lantern was my favorite hero growing up because he had a cool ring and he could do some cool things. And he was green. I loved anything that's green. I love Kermit. I loved St. Patrick's Day. You know what? When I got my Riders jersey, I was pretty happy. That's like the Riders green was the same color as this Green Lantern shirt. So I was pretty excited to have a Riders green jersey with my wrong name on it, by the way. But yeah, St. Patrick's Day was a big thing, especially in Montreal. Montreal growing up, big, huge Irish contingent out there. A lot of Italians, a lot of Irish. So that St. Patrick's Day parade growing up is a big deal. I remember marching in it when I used to be with the Boy Scouts, carrying the flag and all that. It was a big deal. But yeah, more recently, I haven't really gotten into St. Patrick's Day. I went out maybe last year or 2 years ago with my girlfriend. We went to the Tipperary, had some green beer, just a nice night out. There was some, Irish Rover type music. Yesterday was a Monday. I'm getting my kids back. Besides wearing a green shirt, that was it for me. What about you, Sheldon? Did you do any St. Patrick's stuff? Or
that's what sucks about getting old. I find the time you start having kids, like the first few years, grandma and grandpa are in town and you get a date night. But after a certain age, you're just like, oh, I just want to come home. So I've kind of lost that zest for getting out to the pub and chasing around. But of course, that our young, intrepid producer, Trey, is just kind of hitting that age where he starts wanting to explore out there, get up with some buddies and and go check it out. And Trey, just for that, we sent him out last night with the sole purpose of bringing back a report, see how everything went. Trey, you're welcome to join anytime, bud.
How's it going, boys?
There he is, just back from the pub.
Strong. You're sounding strong. Your eyes look pretty clear. Is it a little Visine or how are you feeling today?
Bit of a headache this morning for sure. But
did you make it to class? Did you make it to class first of all?
I did. I did make it to class, thankfully.
Oh, so you didn't go hard enough, is what you're saying. You didn't go hard
maybe
enough.
Maybe not.
So you're a young, strapping 21-year-old lad in the city. Is this your first year in Calgary for St. Patrick's Day, or were you here last year?
No, I've been here before, but this is like the first time I went out and enjoyed
you partook in the festivities. So tell me where'd you go? Where'd you go?
We started at Jameson's on 17th. That was probably my favorite place that we went to. A lot
Monday night, cheap wings, right?
We didn't get wings actually,
Oh.
but we did have a few pints of Guinness and some green beer, and the live music there was great. I don't know who it was, but it was a lovely band.
Live music, perfect.
Was it a Celtic band like?
Yeah. Oh, they sang Irish songs. They sang some Irishy songs and some popular songs, and it was great. We're having a great time. And then a few of my buddies were like, "All right, let's head to the next spot." So
where was the next spot?
We went. I don't know how far we walked. It felt like a marathon, but we made it to Trolley 5.
Oh, that's a far ways out. That's as far as it. Now apparently your grandmother was partying at the same time, right? Is this correct? Grandma was having her own little.
I got home from the bar at like 1 or 1:30, and I got a text message from my grandma saying that she had quite a hooping hollering day. So my grandma, 77, 8 years old, is out having a great time and
just giving it. I love it. I love it. And I bet you know what, Sheldon. I bet you Grandma Smith dressed up in green, just like your buddy Justin, and just I did.
Listen, I didn't say anything about grown ladies. I said grown men dressing up in costumes for different festivities, right? But you do. You wearing green last night? You're young. You're allowed to.
Yeah, even if you're old, you're allowed to. How many? How many of our listeners? Hold on. Anyone listening now? We got quite a bit of people here. Todd, Jamin, how many of you wore green yesterday? I just want a little informal Chevy and Nasty Ipsos poll. Might sway the fate of the nation here. Tell us if you wore green yesterday. Trey, while you're out there, were you having any green beer? That's a big deal now. The green beer.
Of course.
You had some green.
We had green beer, and we had the Guinness. I'd never had a Guinness before, so we had to try that out. And I like the green beer more. I like the green beer more.
You know, the Guinness is hard. Did you have an Irish car bomb?
No, I never even thought about that. We'll have to put that on the list for next year.
You take a half a pint of Guinness. You throw a shot of Bailey's in it, and pound her back. I don't know if that's an American thing. It looks like everyone's wearing green, Sheldon. You might be the only. You might be the only St. Patrick's Day Grinch.
Yeah,
Rubio went on a limb.
Yellow. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just don't dress up for stuff that much anymore. But maybe I'm just.
Well, when you're the Grinch, you're already green, right? Like it's.
Yeah.
Hey, I like Regan Kohlberg's quote. Let's put that one up. # never drinking again.
Yeah.
Was that you this morning?
Yeah, that was me. That's my buddy Reagan. So we went out and we were feeling it this morning, I think.
So let me ask. Did you meet any pretty girls while you're out there? Is this more
the ladies? What was the ladies situation?
Yeah, ladies situation was pretty minimal. We're keeping it just together with the boys.
I feel like when I'm watching Trey and I'm listening to this, I feel like it's like watching those old coming of age shows like American Pie or Porky's or any one of those shows. So you guys are just chasing it all night. It just never showed up.
I guess not.
Yeah, there's nights like that, Trey. There's night like that. What about? Did you guys bring out some of your own inner Irish? Did you guys get any scuffles? You see any fights? Any excitement there at the bars? Because that was a big thing back in the day.
Yeah. We made it to our final pub of the night. I believe it's called the Bear in the Kilt or something along that line. It's another Irishy pub, and
I think the Scots wear kilts, but sure.
Sure. It had green. It had green everywhere. So, yeah, we were playing some pool and another pool table. I don't know what they were fighting about, but I was a part of. Not a part of. I witnessed my first ever bar fight.
Did you come over the top?
Guys on the floor. There's glasses everywhere. There's
were you the guy?
Chairs and cues and.
When I used to bounce,
legit one.
Whenever those fights broke out, there's that one guy who would run around. I don't even know if he was associated with anybody, but any guy that ends up on the ground, he just runs up to him, gives him a couple of quick boots, and runs away before he gets caught and goes to the next guy. Was that you? Like, did you get any action in on that? Or
oh no, I'm just a bystander. I try to not to engage in anything that.
Hey, your dad said you were there for the school, not the girls. Well, he's not at the bar for the school. Pops, he's at
Monday night for the boys. Like, come on, man!
Monday Night Raw. He was right in the thick of a rumble.
Monday Night Raw was in the afternoon. It was great. So got to watch Monday Night Raw, and they were in Belgium last night.
Look at that. Tegan says you're. Tegan says you're a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah, not a fighter. I've been in one fight in my life, and it didn't end up well. So
well. Speaking of, and this is a good one. It's a good segue. So. We saw this online a couple of weeks ago. We're going to talk about it. We just never got to because we go off and then but tonight was a great night to talk about this. Let's say you are in a bar and you're with your lady, right? And someone grabs your lady. What do? There's a video that circulated online. And at first when I saw it, before you play it, Trey, at first when I saw it, I was like, well, yeah, that, I would stand up for my gal. But when I started reading the comments, a lot of women were like, no, like that's like, they were more scared of their boyfriend who reacted in a certain way versus the reaction. And I thought, well, as a man, what we were taught, our generation of men, was you do what this guy in the black shirt did, and we'll play it in a second, versus what maybe is being socialized now. But when I talked to my girlfriend, I was really conflicted because I said, I thought, okay, I knew what I would do in this situation. But then I said, hey, babe, would you think it would be wrong of me to react this way? And, the reaction was, well, no, I want you to do something. Now, obviously, you don't want to go in jail. So let's roll the clip and see what you guys think. Let's roll the clip. So here he is, the guy in red. He's drunk. He grabs the girl's butt. Trey comes over the top and knocks him out.
His head actually hit the bar stool after it bounced on the ground.
Can we start it again? Let's start it one more time. For those of you that
let's see that again.
So here's a guy macking on the girl that. Yeah. Here's Trey coming over.
And here's the laws of nature coming into play. So Chevy, that's an interesting question. I almost have a hard time believing that, because back in the day, that would have just been expected. By going out there and grabbing her ass is a license to be punched. You're asking to be punched. Unless you were that drunk that you couldn't calculate the consequences. Are you saying that these days that doesn't get you in a fight?
Well, I listen, I think it gets you in a fight, but these days with cameras, and you obviously saw this on film, that dude's like, again, I was conflicted when I saw this, because at first I was like, yeah, you grab my girl's ass, you're going down. But then I was like, oh, shoot, this is on film. This is like the guy wasn't hurting her. Like, obviously he was being a jerk. We're all in agreement the behavior was wrong, but did it warrant this guy having his skull crushed? And whether yes or no, the fact that with cameras and everything these days, that dude's going to jail. There's like no justice. Like, again, I agree. Like, you got to do something, but can anybody just like what's the comment saying? I got to see what the comments are saying.
Cozy says, Rob Evans says that sexual assault, which it is.
Yes.
Magdalena says glass jaw. That's right. I mean, if you're going to grab somebody's ass, you better be able to take a punch. And Cozy's like, in this new generation, he should have asked if he could grab her ass first. Right? Isn't it the whole thing about consent?
Well, he should have asked to grab his ass.
My thing is this: like, that was over. That guy could not take a punch. He was a weak guy. It was an overkill, over the top shot. But that's just the pure rage that happens when you see somebody do something to your woman like that. Yeah, and trust me, I don't care what women say on social media. I like what your girlfriend says. Yeah, girl, jail time both ways. That's right. So how do you want to go out? But your girl's from Red Deer or from small town Alberta, so she knows. She knows the law of the land and the law of nature. If somebody steps out of line, it was the same thing in hockey. That used to have fighting in hockey to keep guys from getting too heavy-handed with their sticks or grabbing onto guys. I mean, there's a certain time that fighting comes into play. That was a hard hit. I mean, I would have been terrified right there that, oh my God, I might have killed this guy.
Yeah. Well,
But did he have it coming? Yeah, absolutely had it coming.
Like
So what do you do? Like what's the proper reaction?
Well, I don't know what the proper reaction. I think you grab the guy and you let him know that if he does something like that again, or like he's going down. But I think my girlfriend, back to what Brittany said, small town Alberta and stuff. She said, Ren, she said, it'd be weird if you didn't do anything.
Yeah,
that was her. But again, when I read the comments, and we talk about like social media, it's very much a voice for the vocal right or the vocal left. Like most people would see that, don't even care. But maybe it was that really vocal pacifist left that was like, and there was a lot of females. There's like, oh my God, if that was my boyfriend, I'd leave him. Because it went down. They went down the path of, well, what happens if I anger him like that? What, like if he's capable of inflict? And again, I'm like, whoa, why is that? Like, is that a real thing? And I really had a hard time. So I had to talk with Brittany, and I definitely would do something. Now, am I coming over with the Nagano haymaker?
We're different though. We're 6'4". We outweigh and outsize everybody. So what I would have done, I'm pretty sure I would have gone just straight 2 hands to the chest, or grabbing and throwing him to the ground.
Well, the last time I was in a bar brawl, which actually happened when I was in Edmonton, I was playing for the Eski, so way long ago. I was at a bar with a bunch of very well-known Eskimos, and some guy literally grabbed, it was my wife at the time, and threw her across the bar. Literally, like just 2-hand shivered her. And he's a little guy, right? So again, I was about 320 pounds in those days. I grabbed the guy by the shirt, and I said, "Hey, you're gonna apologize to her." Like and he looked me in the eye and he said, "It's my fucking birthday. I can do what I want." Well, that was it. I had the guy 2 hands, and I plowed him through the whole dance floor and threw him up against the wall. And then the next thing I knew, my buddy Roger Reinson, who's a good buddy, his girlfriend at the time, she was a biker. She's the next one to jump in with a glass ball, and it was a full-on brawl. Probably what Trey saw yesterday. But I gave the guy an opportunity. I showed him who's boss. I grabbed him. I gave him an opportunity. Like right there, he should say, "Oh man, I am so sorry. My bad." Instead, he doubled down, and that's when it unleashed the bear.
So you gave him an opportunity, and then she cleaned up for you. Is what I'm.
Well, I
that would have been pretty awesome to see, though. That would
I cleaned up. She got his buddies. That's the thing. He had a whole group, like it was like Trey's gang, right? Yeah. And I plowed him through, and then now all of a sudden I see a beer bottle. Whap! I was like, oh boy, and we had a police escort home. Like it was bad. It was not so those things can get out of hand too, right? And then you never know. Listen, I've been stabbed before. It can get out of hand real quick. It doesn't matter how big you or I are. Yeah. Someone got a gun, someone got a weapon, then it takes a whole different. But in this case, a non-action, I couldn't live with myself if I just saw if I saw someone grab Brittany's ass right now. I'd lose my mind.
Not even doing the calculus. Like I don't even truly believe that you were giving the guy a chance. I mean, at that point, you're seeing rage. You're just deciding, am I going to go over the top or not? I think you handle that perfectly. Run him into the wall, get him on the ground.
But even now, if someone's grabbing Brittany's ass for a bar right now, something's happening. I might not do what this guy did because it looked like this guy knew how to throw a punch in the right spot. Yeah. But Buddy's going down. Buddy in the red shirt's going. Let's watch it one more time. Tell us what you guys would do in the comments. Let's see it one more time. See, we'll pretend Trey's the guy grabbing the girl now. Trey at the bar. Boom! Trey, no class tomorrow.
Yeah. Go to sleep.
Actually, that's Trey right there. There he is, the peacemaker. Trey's a lover, not a fighter.
Tell him to leave. Everybody needs to leave.
And like Cozy says, winner takes home the girl. In this case, he certainly did. Yeah, I love it. Great discussion. Kind of makes you miss the old days a little bit. Not that I want to get a fight anymore, but it kind of brings back those memories when things did get out of hand every now and then. And every now and then, it's kind of a little bit of fun, a little excitement to the night. But with that, folks, I think we got to take a break here. So just a reminder to like, subscribe, share. Let's get as many people on the Chevy and Nasty ride train as possible. You know where to find us tomorrow. If you can't catch us live, you can find us on anywhere that you. we come back, we got a little bit of other world events going on, maybe a little bit of sports. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll see you guys here in a minute.
Performance Freight Management is a global logistic freight shipping company that will handle the entire shipping process for any package to any country. Whether it be a simple truck shipment from your office to Toronto or your company importing generators from China, PFM Freight handles it all. We have the expertise and technology to handle any shipping requirements. Skip the guesswork and let us take the shipping pain off your plate.
Do you want your business to be known? YYCCalgaryBusiness.ca is Calgary's only online media platform that gets you noticed. Short-form video content is rapidly taking over as the most effective way to engage your audience. Whether you're being interviewed on a vodcast, sharing a sizzle reel, or even hosting your own show, there is one place you can publicize your business. We want to tell your story and introduce you to our network of empowered business owners and leaders right here in Calgary. Isn't it time you took your digital game to 11? Call us or email us now.
Welcome back to The Ride with Chevy and Nasty. That was a fun segment, talking a little bit about Trey's adventure. Kind of, having a young dude like Trey on our little panel, our little group here gives us some really different perspective each week when we're thinking about topics and thinking about things to talk about. That really fun. We're gonna get Trey back on. We love having him on. We're gonna have him another time this segment, and then we're gonna have him at the end of the show when he can call us out for all the things that we were wrong on or anything. But where do you want to go now, Sheldon? There's a lot going on in the world. But we did world politics the last couple of weeks. I think I want to stick around in the world of sports. And there's a story about fandom and a golfer. And what do athletes owe the fans and the media? And, we both played. We both watched sports. Where do you sit on this? What do athletes owe?
Well, that's the thing. Like, athletes are people just like everybody else. They have good days and they have bad days.
Yeah.
You owe something to the fans, but you don't owe them everything. Like, there's a time and place for everything. Especially when you're playing in a league like the CFL, that's really fan driven. You really are an ambassador of the game, an ambassador of the team, and you're there to sell, help sell season tickets. And also, I think back in the day, being cool with the fans built your reputation. And that was before the days of Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff. So it was a lot different back then. I think, the chance to interact with an athlete was special. And I think we kind of felt then maybe more we owed them something. But which case up here are we talking about first?
Well, let's talk about the case of Colin Morikawa, right? The golfer. Yeah. He ranked 4th in the world. They thought he was going to win. Was the Players Championship? And I think he tanked. And then he declined to be
Arnold Palmer.
Arnold Palmer. Sorry. Well, he failed to win the Arnold Palmer, right? He didn't want to be interviewed. He didn't want to be interviewed after, he refused to speak to the media about his performance, about tanking and stuff. And he said, I don't owe anyone anything. I play golf. Yeah, I'll do me's, but if I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it. What's your take on this after a sports performance? Do athletes owe anything?
Well, I think he handled it just fine. I think if I remember that, what happened is after the game, they're all kind of standing around trying to get a comment from him, and he just walked by, just head down, walked by, went, signed a bunch of autographs for fans, and then just left. Yeah. And afterwards, they're talking about the bad. They're saying there's some former pro golfers that are now commentators that of course had an opinion on it, and they called him out for it. They said it's a bad look for the game. Guys have tanked a lot worse than that, have been accountable to the media. And he came back and said, I don't care who you are. Yeah. I don't care what you say about me. I owe you guys nothing. Yeah. And I think it was those comments afterwards that really sparked the whole thing up. But, looking back, maybe he could have said that differently. But the truth is he didn't owe them anything. Like, he was having a bad day and a bad moment. And you still got to allow a guy his space, right? It's not like he's just storming off, leaving the tour.
Yeah,
he's just taking a minute, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, his exact words is, I don't owe anyone anything. No offense to you guys, but for me, in that moment of time, I didn't want to be around anyone. Like, I didn't want to talk to, and again, I'm okay with that. Like, sports are emotional, and a reporter's job is to get you at your worst, right? Yeah. That's their job. When you go into pro sports, when I went to the NFL, they do a whole rookie symposium, and they do a whole afternoon on telling you to watch the media. And the first thing they tell you is the media guys will act like your best friends, and they'll burn you the first chance they get. That's what we're told. I mean, I have some great friends in the media, in the local Calgary media across Canada that I made in my travels. I had no problems speaking with the media. We had our show while we were playing football, and we literally went on after a loss and owned up to our losses. But not everyone has that capability.
But you think about that too. Either way, it's all for now it's all for the likes and the hits, right? Back then it's for a hard hitting story. So if you walk away, they're going to talk about you. If they get you in the moment and you say something rash, they're going to get you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what do you owe people? You owe the fans respect. You owe respect to the game and the sport. I don't think there's anything wrong with walking away and not doing an interview, though. Look at so many sports that are team sports. It's different for an individual sport. I've never been a professional golfer, but you could hide in the locker room. Even in the NFL, I don't know if they do it in the CFL now. With media in the locker room, you have a media room.
Yeah, well, you have a media in the locker room still. You still have the scrums, and a lot of times they go to the star players, right? Like guys like you and I, they got a soundbite here and there.
I did scrums every game, Chevy.
Well, I didn't every game. Every once in a while, I got the one guy that wanted some good long quote, because they know if they turn the tape recorder on me, I'll keep talking, and then they'll miss all the good stuff from the star players. But like, this is not without precedent. I saw a lot of, again, he got a lot of backlash from fellow PGA members, Rocco Mediate, Paul McGinley, Brandel Chambly. There's, old school guys. I guess it's kind of like the way it's always been, is you face the media when things are good, but you also got to face them when things are bad. And there's certain sports, I think, namely golf and baseball, where they're very sort of, even though baseball's a team sport, it's a very individual thing. A guy that's, hitting, or a pitcher, and media, they have these relationships, and those relationships can either be great or they can be terrible. Look at David Ortiz when he was with Boston. He never talked to anyone. He had nothing to say. Or, but then you go to football. Look at Marshawn Lynch. Like, there are people that are uncomfortable with the media. When Marshawn Lynch went to the Super Bowl, he literally sat up there, set his timer for 5 minutes so he didn't get fined, and he even said, I'm only here so I don't get fined. And he sat there, he answered like none of the questions, I believe. I think he went on a little bit of a monologue. He did a quick shout out to his people in Oakland, his people where he grew up, his brand, and then he left, right? But he didn't say anything, and he didn't appreciate the media.
Yeah, did he or did he not?
Now he's everywhere.
I think that was a genius move, to be honest. Like, that was a boss move on hhis part. That became the story. That got more eyes and more attention on him than how are you going to respond to the 3-4 versus the 4-3?
Yeah,
right? Like that. I thought that was awesome. That was
it was great for his brand,
right?
It was great.
Sure. And it was great for the reporters. It gives people things to talk about.
Did people like him any less? Did people like him any less? The reason they like you or don't like you has nothing to do.
The haters will hate you more, right? The people that didn't like you to begin with will like you even less, or the people that want to take a righteous stand on social media these days, there'd be a lot of people eating that up with an opinion on it. But you've got to admit that was just good entertainment. I loved it.
Well, and look,
that was awesome.
And look where he is now. He's on movies, Netflix shows. He just did Love Hurts that was released around Valentine's Day. He's got his own thing going on with Amazon. He interviews. He did one of the best pieces that I saw with Barry Sanders. Like, he's a media guy now, but at that time he wasn't comfortable. And he even mentioned, he says, the only people that matter to me are my family. And people will want to talk to him and want to celebrate him so long as he's in beast mode. The minute he starts tailing off, the minute his performance go down, he'll be judged by his performance. All these guys are like that. Look at Aaron Rodgers, right? Aaron Rodgers. There's some people that love him, some people that hate him. He says what he wants. So long as he can play well, they will love him in the sport that he's in. The minute he starts to tail off, which is what happened this year in the Jets, look at how many people are on his back. And I was never an Aaron Rodgers fan, but that phenomenon exists, that when you stop performing, that's when it matters. That's when people actually care. Say something to the media or not, no one cares. Look at MegaPixx playing for the Flames. Yeah. He never talked to the media. I think he had it written in his contract that he wasn't doing media appearances. He wasn't going out in the community. He minded the net for all those years, one of the greatest of all times, and that's all people will remember him as. They're not going to remember him as a guy who spoke or didn't speak to the media, you know?
He used to take calls. Kippersoff used to take calls from Mike Richards on the morning show.
Yeah, that was fun. Well, let me ask you this question. Question because relates to golf. What do fans owe the athletes? Because we saw, I believe it was just this past weekend, golf, obviously a gentleman's game. Rory McIlroy gets called out. It was actually like, I'm reading into the story. There's a little bit more deeper to it, but basically 5 words, just like 2011 at Augusta, was shouted out to Rory, and he heard it, went up to this young golfer and grabbed his phone and then walked away with it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, now this is where it gets a little bit more serious. And I think that was during a practice round where he just put the ball in the drink, and it was funny. Right. But it's sort of disrespectful for a fan to make a comment like that to a golfer. But come on, when you play football, you heard it all the time, right? You're allowed to interact. Did Rory McIlroy go too far by going over and actually grabbing his phone? Again, I don't know. To me, it was just kind of funny and entertaining, but you're getting into very dangerous territory when you actually start physically interacting with a fan, because you don't know where that can go. And you don't know if he's going to have fun with it, if he's going to react well, or how the media is going to react. Trey, I don't know. I don't suppose we have a clip of that one, do we? Because they actually caught that one live on the golf course.
But again, with this one, Sheldon, a little bit deeper, not just a fan. This kid, Luke Potter, who did this, he's actually a very good up and coming golfer. He's got a scholarship. I believe he's with Texas, one of the universities down in Texas, and he probably should know better, like the etiquette on the golf course. Like, there's the one, what's the Waste Management Invitational down in Arizona that's played every year. That's the one where it's like a booze fest. People are chirping guys from the stands. But for the most part, golf is a gentleman's game. You're not chirping golfers. Like, that doesn't happen. And for this kid, Luke Potter, to do that, it kind of steps even further to a situation where, the fans owe the players, I would think, a bit of respect. Wouldn't you agree? It's a relationship, right? Like, fans can go too far.
But that's up to the officials to step in and keep guys separate. And you want the fans right there. You want the fans engaged. Rory, I honestly, I couldn't tell from the video, and I didn't do that much reading up on his comments afterwards. To me, it was actually kind of funny, because he just walked up to the kid. The kid automatically, after making eye contact, looks down to his phone. He's probably texting his buddy that he just chirped McIlroy.
Yeah.
And McIlroy says, "Hey, let me see that phone." And he takes it and he walks off with it. I don't know what he did with it afterwards, but I kind of like that move. You're in dangerous territory. If he was honestly being pissy about being chirped, it was a bad move on McIlroy's part. He should have just, taken it and walked away. Trey, you probably know this story. You're the golf king around here.
Yeah.
What happened to that phone?
So Rory took the guy's phone after he heckled him, just grabbed it and walked down the fairway and refused to give it back until the kid was removed.
Oh, for real?
Yes. So,
I would have taken a selfie. I would have cooled down, taken a selfie with it, and gave it to an official.
So the kid got kicked out, but he got his phone back. And then when the media tried to ask Rory about it, like after the round, and after they asked him again after his first round, he's like, I don't really want to talk about it. And they're like, why not? He's like, well, I just don't want to.
Okay,
And
well,
like,
Trey,
okay.
let me ask you this. You're on the UFC golf team. This kid was on the Texas men's golf team. He's a really highly ranked U.S. junior, U.S. amateur. You do that. Trey Smith comes back from his great St. Patty's Day pub crawl the next day. He's watching competition. Rory McIlroy about to shoot. You say that. What's happening in your life? What's your coach saying to you? What type of repercussions would come on to you?
Probably the same as the kid. I mean, he was there. The kid was there for free. He had just played a tournament.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of tournament directors that got the team tickets, and he wrote apologies to all of them. So like he knew better than to say that. For me, probably not as detrimental to my golfing career, but I probably get a stern slap on the wrist. Like don't heckle them, and if you do,
don't get
like
caught.
Rory should. Yeah, well that, but like Rory should have just been like, Rory should just move on. Like there's a guaranteed. There's been a lot worse things said than Rory, and he's done less. So
yeah,
especially
Sheldon,
he's just got a guy at the wrong time.
Sheldon, I'm going to ask you, like you played for the Riders, you moved to the Stamps. Anyone ever crossed the line with you when you played?
Lots of times, but mostly it was like cities like Winnipeg and Hamilton where they're notorious for heckling you. The Hamilton fans were always funny. I remember my first year in the league, I wasn't playing a whole lot, and that group of guys right behind the bench,
yep.
they had season tickets forever. And I think of the new building as well. And they'd be like, "Hey, Napoop stick" was what they called me. Napoop stick, I guess, is how they interpret Napaschuk. Hey, grab your helmet. Coach wants you to go in. Just kidding, right? Because I was just sitting on the bench for most of the game. The fun stuff like that. The one time I got really pissed though was I think it was in 2005. And I didn't know my neighbors yet. I was just in my new house. And we just lost to, I want to say it was the Riders. The Riders in the playoffs. And green garbage bag day comes, it's snowing, and I'm out there shoveling my walk. And my neighbor's got this asshole friend with him in the truck that comes pulling up, rolls down the window and says, because they knew who I was. I didn't know who they were yet. "If you would have worked hard on Saturday, you'd still be in the playoffs, motherfucker." Okay, I should have said that like that. But Trey can bleep that out later. But yeah, that was the one time I got a little bit choked.
Yeah.
But
well,
I met the guys afterwards, and it was it's actually kind of funny when you
but fans, we had the segment where we talked about the Rider fans throwing the poop allegedly in Paul McCallum's yard. They missed. That's too far. Yeah. There was that segment. Remember we talked about in the fall where Jason Kelsey was walking and this one kid was in his face calling his brother a bunch of names and stuff. Like there are times when fans take it too far. And just like in the bar, sometimes you see red, right? And Jason Kelsey, if Jason Kelsey did not have a career in the media, he's not going on a national blitz apologizing for his behavior, taking the guy's phone and smashing it, right? He's not. Yeah. That's exactly what Rory McIlroy did, minus the smashing. Rory McIlroy was more diplomatic. He said, "I'm not giving back until he's gone." But Jason Kelsey, we saw that happen, right? Yes, he apologized, but I bet you if that was in the bar and that same thing happened and there were no cameras on him and he wasn't in the media, he wasn't Jason Kelsey as we know him now, he's not apologizing. And you know what? I don't think in that moment he had to apologize. He did it because he was forced to. But again, fans can be dicks. I told you the story off air. I'm not going to get into it, but I helped this one guy's kid that I met at the park long snapping. This guy reaches out to me on Facebook, asks me if I could get a helmet signed for his kid. I go to the store. I use my discount to get one of those helmets like you see behind me, brought into the locker room. I give to Robbie, our equipment kid, signed by as many people as possible. But, it's not his job. It's not my job. We usually have a table. I went a little extra further. There's about 50 signatures on the helmet. Get it back to the guy. He's complaining that not everyone's signature is there, including the coaches, the trainers. And I said, listen, that's the best I could do. Instead of saying thank you, this guy went off threatening that he was going to write a letter to the president of the Stamps about how crappy we are. And I was like, Like, I couldn't believe it. And this was serious. And you know, the whole story about his kid having cancer is all BS. This guy was clearly wrong in the head.
Are you joking?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Wow.
This guy's clearly wrong in the head because, again, I coached this kid a few years later. And I'm like, that was the cancer kid. You know, and you just feel so played. And fans do that, right?
You would have seen that on eBay the next week.
Yeah. So, anyways, I do think fans could take it too far. But you know what? Before we take a break, we got 2 minutes with Trey. We promised him 2 minutes. We gave him some time at the beginning. Trey's our resident sports guy. We don't always talk about the things Trey wants to talk about. So we're going to bring Trey on. Trey, you got 2 minutes to talk about what you want to talk about. Educate us tonight on something. Give us something that we're not giving the fans. Come on, what are we talking about?
Okay, so it's March Madness week this week. I brought up to you guys today. What's that? So basically, a bunch of college basketball teams play in a bracket. It's pretty fun. It's way bigger down south than it is.
Is McGill playing? Is McGill University in the?
I don't think they qualified this year, unfortunately. So, anyways, I know like Sheldon, you went to Ohio State, so I took
I went to Iowa State Cyclones, not Ohio State.
Iowa State.
Yeah. See,
Iowa State,
the number 3 seed in the South.
Yep.
Yeah, that was us.
Yes, I have it written down. Sorry. So, anyways, I wanted to bring this up to you guys.
Who's going to win? Are the Beavers in? That's what Kozak wants to know if the Beavers are in. Is it the Oregon State Beavers? Are they in?
Oh, I see where this show's going. Like
if Oregon State's in, I'm taking Beavers all the way to the final. That last week we were on the
Oregon State's not in. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Kozak,
are you a bracket guy? Do you have like 3-4 brackets going already, Trey?
Oh yeah. Got lots of brackets
do,
with all the buddies.
Do you follow NCAA basketball during the season, or kind of
little bit? Tiny bit.
When March Madness comes around, you get
full on. Oh yeah, full on.
My first year at Iowa State, the same thing. I knew nothing about college basketball until I went there, and we used to have like free tickets to the games, which are amazing. By the way, if you guys ever get a chance, college football games are great, but if you go to a true basketball stadium in the NCAA, you're going to have the time of your life. They've got the marching bands going around, like the drum lines going around the arena for half an hour before the show. All you hear is the drums, doom, 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 and right before game time, the whole band comes out in the middle of the field or middle of the court. It's crazy good.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. If I'm picking that bracket, if I'm looking at that bracket, I'm just picking colors. So I'll just pick my favorite color in each game. Like there's that mustard yellow one. I can't even read it, but whoever they are losing the worst. Was that Ohio State versus
Lipscomb? Iowa State versus Lipscomb.
Yeah, they're done.
They're
done. I'm picking.
Although there's always those upsets in the first round. There's always upsets in the first round.
Yeah, but the yellow mustard team is not. The green is going all the way through. So Michigan State at the bottom, all the way through. Unless there's another green team, then I'll have to see if there's a better team. But otherwise, green all the way on that side. What's the other side, Trey? Do you have the other side up?
No, I only picked the one region just because Iowa State was there and Michigan.
Yeah. Michigan State this year, you might be in luck. Michigan State's got a shot. They've been playing some pretty good ball here this year. So
I
know I played dumb, but I know that this is a big deal. Like this is huge. It's fun for basketball fans. People are more into this than the NBA for sure. It's a big deal. It gets people talking about basketball. It's pretty exciting because, again, college sports in the States is just a different type of animal. Obviously, Sheldon, you've been part of it. But yeah, so Trey, tell us who's going to win because you're past your 2 minutes. Tell us who's going to win. Who's going to win, Trey?
I pick Florida. I think SEC, they have the most I even took a graphic here. They have the most seeds. I think their conference is the best. Doing a little bit of research. Florida won the SEC conference championship game on Sunday. They got the best point guard in college basketball right now. They're my pick to win.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's a safe pick. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. We got studs and duds, and we're going to be hitting it pretty hard and fast to get out of here. So, we'll see you here in a minute.
Let's rip.
Performance Freight Management is a global logistic freight shipping company that will handle the entire shipping process for any package to any country. Whether it be a simple truck shipment from your office to Toronto or your company importing generators from China, PFM Freight handles it all. We have the expertise and technology to handle any shipping requirements. Skip the guesswork and let us take the shipping pain off your plate.
Do you want your business to be known? YYCCalgaryBusiness.ca is Calgary's only online media platform that gets you noticed. Short-form video content is rapidly taking over as the most effective way to engage your audience. Whether you're being interviewed on a vodcast, sharing a sizzle reel, or even hosting your own show, there is one place you can publicize your business. We want to tell your story and introduce you to our network of empowered business owners and leaders right here in Calgary. Isn't it time you took your digital game to 11? Call us or email us now.
Welcome back to the show. It's The Ride with Chevy and Nasty, brought to you by Performance Freight Management, We Drone Real Estate Media, YYC Business. You know where to find us, guys. All the socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, TikTok, all that stuff. And you know that the show is going to be hosted on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts, and as well, YYC Business. So if you haven't followed us, follow us. If you can share our profile with your friends, share it. During the break, Rubio sent the video of Rory McIlroy removing the kid, Luke Potter's phone. Again, we had a discussion on it very quickly, but Sheldon, a lot of the comments are saying Rory's in the wrong. It goes back to our guy punching out the dude at the beginning. Like maybe
here's why Rory was wrong.
Okay,
he's getting paid millions of dollars a year. Are we watching the video? Do we have time?
No. I don't think so, unless Gray has it. But
yeah. So here's the thing: Roy's making up millions of dollars, and he's there to entertain fans. They're the ones paying his, all that. The point of the matter is, he could have achieved the same thing by walking to an official and saying, "I need those guys out of here," and they probably would have removed him for him. So go up there and start to force an interaction with a fan, it's a bad look on a pro athlete, in my opinion.
$1 million question then: who's wronger, Rory or Colin? What's his name, McIlroy?
If Rory handled it differently, this kid would have been out of there, and nobody would even know his name.
No, I mean between Colin Morikawa, who refused to speak to the media, or Rory McIlroy for taking the
I said earlier, you can walk away from the media. You do not. It's not in your contract to speak to the media on every engagement. He's not in the wrong. It's when you start interacting with the fans, that's where you start getting into trouble.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, look at what happened in Toronto Argonauts a couple of years ago to John Murphy, right? Yeah. Got into it with the fans. He got fired, right? Said something. Someone picked it up on camera. Even though the fan was probably being a douche, you're held to a higher standard, right? Whether you're in the public, whether you're a member of a team, people see. I mean, listen, I've gotten texts sometimes. I know a lot of people in Calgary from coaching and firefighting, teaching, and sometimes I'll get a text or a message saying, "Oh, like your former teammate so-and-so saw them at a kids hockey game acting like an absolute jerk, banging on the glass." I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, it was my teammate. Maybe they're still sometimes associated with the team. You never know. But yeah, definitely when you're known, you're held to a higher standard. Like if I act like a jerk at a football game or at a hockey game, I know people are going to say something to someone that knew me from playing days, just like you. But yeah, I think Rory was definitely more wrong in this, even though I felt like him doing something could have been okay. But taking the kid's phone, maybe not. But the kid was wrong too.
I'll tell you what, though, Chef, we got 6 minutes, buddy. I want to hit these studs and duds.
Okay.
Trey, Trey, why don't you cue us up here?
Studs and duds.
Hit your
Randy,
stud.
Remind me where you want my stud.
No, wait, no, you're wait, is it your dud?
Yeah,
no,
my
your
dud.
stud.
I'll
Your
go with my
stud.
dud.
No, your stud. Your stud.
Okay, my stud. guys, I don't know if you guys saw it earlier, but those astronauts that had been stranded in space for 9.5 months, they were supposed to be up there for, I think it was a 2 or 3 day test flight of a rocket ship, the Boeing rocket ship. They went and docked with the International Space Station. The thrusters weren't working right, so they sent the capsule home alone. They're stuck in space. Who comes to the rescue? None other than our very own Iron Man / Batman. Guys, that only superpower is being super rich and super smart. Sends up a rocket, gets these guys back home today after 9 months in space. That has not been done in a long, long time. But I'll tell you what, for all the flack that this guy's been getting, it's pretty remarkable that we have a guy on this planet who at the same time is learning to build rockets, putting satellites into space, building electric cars, batteries, getting the next thing he's working on is getting paralyzed people to be able to walk again. This is all happening within a 10, 20, 30-year period in our lifetime. An exciting guy. Elon Musk, you are my stud.
And I agree with your stud this week. I mean, love him or hate him. There's times where I think Elon Musk is great. There's times where I'm just like, oh, I can't believe. But you know what? That's great. Look, the guy came down from the space and he has the same haircut as Elon. Like somehow in the transfer, that was probably part of the contract to get to Earth is have Elon's haircut. The girl, I don't know what she was doing with her hair. That might be the new American.
Not an Elon cut. Yeah, not an Elon.
Yeah, that's the new American Gothic portrait. Like they should have that as the newest great portrait. I'm going to go with my dud. I'm going to start with my dud because it was heartbreaking. Montreal Canadiens had a great back and forth game against the Seattle Kraken last week after a pretty disappointing road trip in which saw them lose to Edmonton in overtime, saw them lose to the Flames. They beat the Canucks. They go to Seattle. We thought, oh, this could be it. They're in overtime. It's poised for a great game. Well, if you blink, you missed it. Trey, can you play the clip of this? This is the fastest overtime in history. Do we have this clip? Let's see. Trey's still at the pub.
Yeah, Trey's back at the pub.
Trey's back at the pub. It's 1 second. Yeah, he's texting. He's texting the gal he met. I bet there's a gal. It's always a gal. These young, what is he? A Generation Z's? X?
Yeah.
Y?
So, yeah. I've lost track. It's like Gen X lasted for so long, and then all of a sudden now it's just like there's a generation every 10 years has got a new letter.
Anyhow, what happened was the Kraken tied it up to get it to overtime. 4 seconds in, right off the face-off, I think the commentator said, well, it's such a great game. If you missed it, if you leave, you might miss something else. Next thing you know, they score, break the Montreal Canadiens' heart. You know what? I don't know if we're going to play it. I'm not going to wait around. Trey, do we have it? Oh, there we are.
There we go.
There we are. Okay, we got this. There's no
audio.
audio.
I didn't know about that. I didn't actually see the Chev, so this is my first time watching this.
Watch this. Drop the puck.
Oh, it's a set play.
See you later, Jack.
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Oh, that's pretty hard. That's heartbreaking, though, isn't it?
Beautiful if you're a Kraken fan. Absolutely upsetting if you're a Canadiens fan. So yeah, that's my dud. Or yeah, well, that's my dud. No, I don't know if it's my. Yeah, that's my dud. That's my dud. Let's go with your stud, Sheldon. Let's go. Let's move on.
Oh, well, I did my stud, so I'm going to move on to my dud now. I don't know if you heard about this, but this week, a politician in France started a movement to take back the Statue of Liberty back to France. Everything's gotten so politicized in this world. A guy like Elon Musk, a guy like Donald Trump can do no right. Even though they're making fundamental changes to the world, we're slowly getting the Iran, Houthi, Hamas situation sorted around. Ukrainian and Russia are agreeing to some form of a ceasefire. And here is someone in France saying, no longer are we going to allow our Statue of Liberty to stand proudly on the shores of the U.S. Donald Trump wrecked it for me. And they're trying to start a movement to bring that Statue of Liberty back to France. To me, that's a bad move. That is a sore loser. That is way worse than taking their phone and asking for them to be ejected.
So that's your dud.
Clearly my dud. Come on, man. They have a long-standing relationship between those two nations. You can't let one president that you disagree with call back one of the most iconic man-made objects on Earth.
Well, your dud happens to be my stud of the week. Way to go, France, for trying to take back the Statue of Liberty. You know, you talk about how do you deal with a bully. You talk about all the positive changes. Well, I heard what you said. I heard what you said, Sheldon. He's doing some great changes, but he's also doing some dud maneuvers, trying to make us the 51st state, and the chaos.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna fight you.
The chaos that he's thrown North American, renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. He's solving the Riviera and Gaza. You know what? I am happy that France says, give us la Madame Liberté until you got some proper leadership there. Someone that
Chevy,
actually
are you
respects
aware
freedom,
that it was not for the United
democracy.
States and strong men like Donald Trump? And yes, you're not going to agree with everything he did, but there's only one reason why they are not speaking German in Paris right now.
You know what I say?
There's only one reason.
Daryl,
get the might of the Americas, their manufacturing prowess that changed World War II, and they're just trying to bring it back to America.
Listen, it's Raphael Glucksmann, call Performance Freight Management. They've got air freight. They can get the Statue of Liberty back. They solve all your freight problems. PFM can get the Statue of Liberty back to France, and if they decide to make peace, you could ship it back. PFM, they could solve all your shipping needs. That was my dad. But okay, Sheldon, you talk about asking back an old, they give a gift and you ask for it back. That's one thing. But we saw a story, and it might be an old story, but it got us talking online. We're going to wrap it up with this tonight. It was a New Mexico kid finds a sack of cash and returns it. Yeah. So what would you do? What would you do if you find a sack of cash? Are you returning it?
Well, what this kid did, and he says he thought about it, and he could never look his mom in the face. He would be too afraid of what his mom would do if he kept the money. Truth be told, the first thing would go through. I would be tempted. But keep in mind, I'm a guy that keeps my shoes on an airplane, and I don't put my seat all the way back. I respect rules. It's not my money. I'm just going to do my part to keep this nation the way it's supposed to be. I would have returned the money. I would have thought about it though, but then I would have thought that this is an ATM. It's got cameras. There's cameras all over the place. There's no way I'm going to get to keep the money. So I think I would have probably done the right thing.
So I just thought, watching Breaking Bad, that, down in New Mexico or Arizona, like you grab a bag of cash, you got the cartels coming after you. Like that looked like a big ass bag of cash. Okay, a big bag of cash is one thing. Have you ever found someone's wallet and returned to them? Like I was in California last year or a couple of years back, and I was at the taxi stand in John Wayne International Airport, and I got to my position in the cab as the Uber came, and I saw a bag sitting there, and I was pretty sure that bag belonged to the people that jumped in the Uber before me and were gone. And I had very few seconds to decide. And I saw there was a really shady looking parking attendant because it was at the top of a parkade, the Uber drop, and there was a couple of shady looking people behind me. I grabbed the bag and I brought it to my hotel room, and then I had to rummage through and basically find something that could get me to call this person. Thankfully, I found a bill that had a cell number on it. Anyhow, I called this person and they were very shocked because one, they did not realize their bag was missing. They were still in transit. And they're like, well, why are you calling me? And I reassured the guy, I had his bag, and he was freaking out at first. He thought, oh, what's this guy doing? I said, listen, man, I just didn't want to leave it there. I got your bag. I'm at this hotel. If you want to swing back around, whatever you got to do, come back. Anyways, the guy was so grateful. For sure. He was he came back. He was so grateful. Happened to be, he was a traveling band member. I think I told you that musical about the Gander, Newfoundland, where all the airplanes landed during 9/11. Musical, whatever it's called. I forgot what it's called. Someone can listen. But
from away.
Something like that. Anyways, he's traveling across Canada, and he finished his last stop in Vancouver, coming home to the States. He was so grateful. Like he offered to give me money and stuff. I didn't take anything. I just said, listen, I want to make sure I know I'm safe. I found it. I found you, but not everyone will do that. I went to my wallet got stolen, and they took the cash, kept the cards. Thank goodness.
Yeah. And that's a karma thing. I have returned people's wallets. I hand them to the attendant at the store or whatever the case may be. And I've had people return my stuff. Just not 3 months ago, I left my wallets at Signore's Pizza at the counter when I set it down. And some guys, I'm in my truck pulling out, comes running up to me. And the same thing, I'm looking at like, who's this crazy guy tracking me down? Holds up my wallet. I'm like, dude, There's good people in this world, Chev, and I think we have to do our part to make sure that we still have a little bit of goodwill amongst us. And that karma goes a long way.
It sure does. It sure does. And Sheldon, that was a great show. Speaking of karma, oh shoot, dang it. The boss is coming on. We got Trey. Oh, I forgot about this guy. Hey,
I know
easy.
at least one we got wrong tonight, but Trey, let's hear it.
Okay,
Trey,
well,
yeah.
okay, well, maybe
I
I missed a couple, or I might have missed one. I wanted to shout out your Jamie Crysdale. He is on the Stamps Wall of Fame since 2014. Hey. He's got 2 Grey Cups. So it sounded like a really good center back in his day.
Yep.
You did mispronounce a couple of the golf commentators' names wrong. We'll let that slide. Paul McGinley, Brandel Chambly, Rocco Mediate. Okay. 3 legends. They're on the Golf Channel. You should watch. They're really good.
Yeah.
It's golf.
This is an omission or an error on my part. I wanted to shout out Cooper Kupp. He's going to the Seahawks. Everybody doubted the Seahawks. They let go Geno. They let go DK. Everybody thought they were going on a rebuild. They signed Darnold. They signed Kupp. They signed a couple offensive linemen. They're going like 12-5 or whatever. They're going deep in the playoffs.
They have a coach, right?
Yeah, but San Francisco, I don't know, man. I think.
San Francisco.
They might coming back this year.
They might be 4-13 next year. They're terrible.
Anything else? Anything else? Arizona.
I want to know. I want to know what else I missed.
Sheldon, you got anything?
You missed a video clip there in the last segment. We had to wait like 3 minutes to play that.
Oh yeah. That was definitely an error.
I don't know if you left it in your other jacket or
he was texting the galley. I bet he met a gal last night. He was texting her. Hey, I just told him about how I stood up for you in the bar during the brawl. Hey, Big Trey.
I don't think so.
Listen, guys. Thanks for coming on. Oh, your friends. Share. It's my microphone crap. When the song comes on, it's crap. Guys, thanks for joining us. You make it fun. Your comments always keep us going. Give us stuff to talk about. Trey, great job. Sheldon, awesome job. We'll see you guys next week right here on The Ride.
Yeah, nicely done.